Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Monday morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing well out there this morning and having a great start to your Monday, great start to your work week. Got you an update on what's going on with this ice storm, this winter storm that has really trended more significant over the last, I would say, 24 hours. And really overnight, it has trended even more significant as, places like Dallas is going to have an all-out ice storm on their hands now, even further south down to Waco, even places like Austin, Texas has a winter storm warning now. Places like Memphis, Tennessee, there's a few counties in northwest Mississippi that have an ice storm warning. So this has trended further south and more significant for certain areas. So we need to talk about this because, for depending on where your location is, if you haven't checked your weather forecast over the last, I would say, day and a half, then chances are you're going to get caught off guard. But this is really trended into a significant ice storm event that's going to be starting to begin right now. You're reporting freezing drizzle across Dallas, for example. So there's a lot that we need to talk about. But if we're going to focus in a lot on today, kind of the next 24 hours, and we're going to go ooze into the next 36 hours too, and talk a little bit about that. But due to time restraints and just the evolution and how this is changing so much, I don't want to go too far away from today because it could change. Places like Nashville, Tennessee is right on the fringe. We just need to watch out. So if you folks have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. And if you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, you guys know the deal. Please put them in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. Let's get rocking this morning. Watches and warnings. Let's see if anything's changed, and nothing has. Okay, so you see the pink area? That is winter storm warnings. Guys, we haven't seen anything quite like this since February 2021. Now, that's not me comparing this to February 2021. There's a big difference. The big difference is by the time we get into about Thursday, it's going to warm up. And I know Thursday is a few days away. You're thinking, well, dang Mitch, are we going to have sub-freezing temperatures through Thursday? For certain areas, maybe. But you're not going to have sub-freezing temperatures like in the teens and single digits. Okay, there's a big difference. And, the other difference is the long duration factor with the one that happened in February 2021. I mean, it lasted, 7-8 days? That's not going to be the case with this. So winter storm warnings up for a huge chunk of Texas, right in the heart of Texas, Dallas, down to Waco, down to Austin. There's a lot going on here. Winter storm watches on the fringe of this where, this could get upgraded to a warning. You already have winter weather advisories in the teal color, but they are just leaving up those winter storm watches up because they might upgrade these sections to a warning. Now you see these purple areas right here, the deep dark purple, that is ice storm warnings. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm a little surprised there's ice storm warnings as far southeast as northwest Mississippi, but you guys really aren't going to get into the significant icing probably until tomorrow night. But it could happen sooner with, just an Arctic boundary that is very hard to forecast. And you got tons of counties that have winter weather advisories in this shade of purple right here. You got winter weather falling in areas of the Ohio Valley this morning, and the freezing drizzle and the freezing rain is beginning to develop in parts of Texas this morning. You look at water vapor loop, it's going to be hard to kind of see the whole picture, but the Arctic boundary's right down into here and kind of sags up through here in this number. But you see the more wider colors on your screen, that is more moisture in the atmosphere, and that's basically kind of your southern jet that's bringing moisture and riding over this shallow Arctic air, which is going to create a lot of freezing rain issues. And here it is too, surging into Texas. So that's going to be the story. And we take a look at what's going on kind of right now. Multiple reports of freezing drizzle now falling outside of Dallas and around the Fort Worth area. And, right here in Stevensville, Texas, you got reports of icy sidewalks and just icy surfaces. But you see this kind of heavier moisture beginning to develop down here in College Station. That is where the icing totals is going to really add up, but not really down here yet. But this is eventually going to start to surge upward. And then I think later on we could have kind of an area of moisture that really gets developing here somewhere in Oklahoma. And we could have some thunder sleet, thunder ice, meaning it could be sleeting, freezing, raining, and it could be a thunderstorm of it. I would not be surprised at all. St. Louis, you're dealing with some freezing rain and wintry mix this morning. We'll talk about all that here in a second. But the latest HRRR model, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to get detailed in this video, but not quite as detailed as last night's video. Just time restraints is really hurting me from making a 35-minute video here, but we're going to give you some good information a little bit quicker. So We're going to have an area of heavier precipitation that develops in Oklahoma here in the next couple hours. I'm almost going to bet on. But you notice you don't see any pink down here in the Dallas area, for example, down here near Austin, just a little bit. But there's still going to be freezing drizzle falling in these areas where you don't see pink. And you continue, and this becomes very widespread around 11 a.m., about midday, about lunchtime today. And this turns into an all-out heavy wintry mix, maybe as far north as Tulsa, right around the Oklahoma City area, but anybody south of these areas right here and basically the entire southeast quadrant of Oklahoma could experience some heavy sleet and freezing rain. And the freezing rain continues to develop down here in the heart of Texas, right here in the middle of Texas. Rounds of freezing drizzle, light freezing rain, and we get into this afternoon, it's around 3 p.m. Wintry mix begins to overspread the Ozarks. Could be heavy at times, and like I said, the purple is where the HRRR model is trying to say that could be sleet. On the map I showed you from the weather belt, the orange was the sleet. But, when you look at different sites, it indicates icing in different color codes. But, Dallas right in here, Fort Worth right in here. Rounds of freezing rain throughout the afternoon hours. It could mix with some sleet too. It could be just flat out sleet for a period of time. Okay, sleet takes a long time to add up, but sleet can be dangerous too. Sleet does not stick on the tree limbs. It just bounces right off of them. But it could be an icy mix of freezing rain and sleet. But, you stop it right here. This is around 5 p.m. This afternoon. You got freezing rain entering some far northwest counties of Tennessee. Freezing rain entering far western sections of Kentucky, southern areas of Illinois, southern sections of Missouri. It seems like I've mentioned these states several times over the last few weeks, whether it's severe weather, winter weather. It seems like this has been the dominant area where the weather's been happening. But we get into this kind of overnight around 9 p.m. This is when it could get rather icy. An ice storm begins to develop here in eastern and northeast sections of Arkansas and areas of Tennessee, Kentucky, rounds of frozen precipitation. This is when I think Memphis, right here in the middle of the night tonight, Memphis, maybe at 10, 11 p.m. tonight, Memphis will switch from rain to freezing rain, might even mix with some sleet. And then we keep going, and we're getting, like I said, we're getting into well overnight tonight, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and another heavy area of freezing rain and sleet begins to develop in the heart of Texas, as far south as Austin, and then this moves into Oklahoma, and this could be a round of sleet, a wintry mix for Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and then look at the freezing rain deep down here in southwest Texas as we're getting into 10 a.m. tomorrow, and we keep this going, and it blasts through the northern half of Arkansas. This could be freezing rain in Little Rock, where Little Rock has an ice storm warning also. It won't still warm up above freezing in Memphis, and then by the time you get into the afternoon, evening, back down below freezing, and then another round of freezing rain. But I wouldn't be surprised if Memphis stays below freezing tomorrow. I would not be surprised at all. But look, we're getting into tomorrow evening. This is 36 hours from now, and you still have freezing rain falling in Dallas, in the heart of Texas. Look, one of these days, I'm going to be able to spit out every single geographical town and city in Texas, but you certainly, Abilene, you certainly are going to, I know I've been saying Abilene, but Abilene or Abilene, I think we'll just stick with Abilene. Texas, certainly you're going to get significant icing from this. You definitely are. And you continue to go through tomorrow night, and we stop it right here. And this is like right in the middle of the night, tomorrow night, around midnight. Not tonight, but tomorrow night. Okay, and it's still cranking up. Ice storm's still raging. In fact, I would argue that this is when it really goes downhill in Texas. So it's a long duration event for you guys. And you got freezing rain falling in Memphis, and at this point, south central areas of Arkansas. So you look at the National Weather Service, just between now and the next 24 hours, you're thinking, well, that's not that bad. Maybe just 1/10 of an inch of ice, a few 1/100ths of an inch of ice. Dallas, maybe not even 1/10 of an inch of ice, but watch as you get over the next 48 hours. Okay. Holy, that's not good. Well over 1/4 inch of ice for the Dallas area. You're getting down here in Austin. You're flirting with dangerous icing totals. Okay. Yeah, just the heart of Texas getting hit hard. You look at areas like, there's Abilene right there. Come on, baby. I need you to move for me. Here we go. Waco, Stevensville is going to get a lot of heavy ice. Austin. Yeah, so this is going to be a nasty ice storm from this entire region right here. Very bad ice storm in this region of Texas for sure. And, you know, it's crazy how significant this has trended. In fact, you go all the way out throughout the entire duration of this event. Dallas right into here, Fort Worth, now going for half an inch of freezing rain. That is significant territory. A quarter inch is dangerous enough, but now you're shooting for, you know, certain areas down here upwards to 3/4 of an inch of ice. When you get to half an inch, that's when road issues really become an issue. That's when that's when large branches snap off trees. That's when they land on power lines, and that's when some trees sometimes can fall onto houses. So this is significant icing totals. When you get over a quarter inch and you start to get to a half an inch of ice, that is dangerous icing territory. And you mix that with a little bit of sleet, and man, not good for these sections here. And the icing really is starting to increase for Arkansas too, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Like I said, you mix that with a little bit of sleet, guys. And like I said, you could have some thunder sleet tomorrow in Oklahoma, maybe even today in Oklahoma, maybe even parts of Texas, where you could pick up a quick half inch to inch of sleet, pure sleet. Okay, showing some sleet accumulations here in northern Arkansas, southern Missouri. So this could certainly get kind of dangerous in this area today. But I really think the significant icing event is going to happen in Texas and then parts of southern Oklahoma and then northern Arkansas. But what's going on right now in areas of the Ohio Valley? We'll switch the radar and kind of let's go to St. Louis. See what's going on in St. Louis. And you have some reports of snow covering the roads in this region. You got areas of sleet down here southeast of St. Louis. More so snow around St. Louis points north, but it could be mixing with a lot of sleet now. But this is kind of convective in nature. No lightning bolts being shown here on radar scope, but this is kind of convective in nature. Moisture rolling through. You've had some burst of heavier sleet and snow. But I'm not going to pull out the radar for everybody, but freezing drizzle reported in Indianapolis. We were kind of expecting this light freezing rain, some sleet being reported here in areas of Ohio, some snow in southern sections of southern Michigan. So a light to maybe at times moderate wintry mix overspreading the Ohio Valley, and this will continue to do so. Here it is showing up. I would say that the ARRR models may be overdoing it a little bit, but this will continue to spread out throughout the Ohio Valley throughout the morning hours. We get into later after lunchtime. This might bring an area of wintry precipitation, frozen precipitation for areas of Pittsburgh throughout the afternoon hours, and then we watch a heavier band of moisture. That purple you see, that is freezing rain, and this begins to move into the Quad States regions, the Mississippi Valley, basically where Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky all connect. All-out ice storm on your hands moving in tonight, this evening. And then, this is when Kentucky can get an all-out wintry mix overnight. This is when it can get dangerous for Kentucky. For now, Kentucky just has winter weather advisories because they just don't think it's going to be a long-duration event, I'm guessing. But I would not be surprised if Kentucky gets upgraded to some winter storm warnings here in the next few hours at all. But look, waking up Tuesday morning, you got freezing rain knocking on the doorstep of Nashville at this point, but a wintry mix and with some snow moving into West Virginia tomorrow morning. And then you watch another area right here. And this is when the ice storm really cranks up for Arkansas about tomorrow morning through about midday. And then this is when the freezing rain can really start to really and get entrenched into the Memphis area. Watch out, Oxford too, Mississippi. Some freezing rain. You guys down there have a ice storm warning, okay? But the Arctic boundary begins to sag a little bit further south, and then you start to get more frozen precipitation a little bit south. Okay, look at the final frame in the middle of the night tomorrow night. You got some snow starting to form and show up in areas of the northern half of Virginia. So icing between now and the next just 24 hours. It could be significant just north of Memphis, western Tennessee. You're starting to see show up that 1/10 of an inch of ice to 2/10 of an inch of ice starting to show up here right in this area of Tennessee and all those quad state regions right here and northern Arkansas. But, you go out to just basically the entire duration of the event, guys, and you have some ugly icing totals showing up around Memphis and all around the city. And this is going to be an all-out ice storm for western areas of Tennessee now. Eastern areas especially are going to get hit hard of Arkansas. As far southeast areas of Missouri, 1/10 of an inch of ice or more. But once you start to get that quarter inch of ice, if your local people are calling for a quarter inch of ice, guys, you likely are not going to work for a couple days. So go on and prepare for that. For the Northeast, some snow showers will drift into the area. They could be heavier at times. These will drift through this afternoon. They will start to enter Vermont, New Hampshire later this afternoon. And then as we get later this evening into the overnight hours, some snow showers are possible for southern New England. And then we watch for this area a little bit further south in southern Ohio, West Virginia, northern Kentucky. We just mentioned this into the wee hours of the morning tonight. Some snow, a wintry mix begins to enter areas of West Virginia and all these sections right here. National Weather Service, a few inches of snow is possible with this over the next 24 hours, but not a big deal at all. But, you could have a streamer that fires off Lake Ontario that really delivers areas like maybe Syracuse several inches of snow throughout the next 48 to 72 hours for sure. Freezing rain totals, not that big of a deal with this. Just mainly snow up here, but just not a lot of it. The Southeast, you're dealing with some rain this morning. This will clear out, but you'll still have some showers, maybe even a storm that develops in South Carolina. And where it's not basically raining, you're just going to be dealing with cloudy, dreary conditions, and then another round of rain will begin to develop. But, once we get into overnight hours, that's when the ice storm begins to take a hold in these sections right here that we've been mentioning. But rainfall between now and the next 24 hours, like I said, some of this is frozen precipitation up here, but down here, this is all rain. Some of this has already fell. Charleston could get another inch of rain today. And just a soggy south, widespread, quarter of an inch of rain up to an inch of rain, depending on your location. But I think this will mainly be for the deep south and southeast states right into here. Temperatures, north central U.S., pretty quiet day. Not a whole lot going on, just cold. Just cold for you guys, for pretty quiet weather, not a lot going on. Latest HRRR model for temperatures, Arctic boundaries right here. We already know where the icing is going to set up. Some areas will drop as far as their temperatures today as this Arctic boundary continues to sag southward and south in general. So your temperatures might drop if you're in these areas right in here today, but this is what that Arctic boundary is. The Ozarks is kind of delaying the push of really cold air, sub-freezing temperatures down into Little Rock, but it will eventually ooze into Little Rock. But the southeast, really the only thing stopping you from being really warm today outside of Florida, which will bake into the 80s, is just rain and cloud cover. If it wasn't for all this rain in Georgia and Carolinas, like Atlanta to Columbia, you'd probably rise into the 60s today. But this is temperatures today. Sorry if I missed a couple areas, guys. Just time restraints, but I will get detailed again tonight for you guys. But like I said, raging ice storm really developing across Texas today. And this continues to trend upward. That's all I got. God bless all y'all. Have a great day. Stay safe out there, and I'll be with y'all this evening.